El Paso is your hometown. Some on this stage have suggested a voluntary buyback for guns in this country. You've gone further. You said, quote, Americans who own AR-15s and AK-47s will have to sell them to the government, all of them. You know the critics call this confiscation. Are you proposing taking away their guns, and how would this work?
Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47. We're not going to allow it to be used against our fellow Americans anymore.
What is good? Osiris here, stuck in the middle. Thank you for joining. David Frum of The Atlantic wrote an article headlined, How to Persuade Americans to Give Up Their Guns. The way to reduce gun violence is by convincing ordinary, responsible handgun owners that their weapons make them, their families, and those around them less safe. I call for peace only. I have never fired a gun in my life. If you are about anything other than peace first and foremost, then I respect your opinion, but I can't roll with you. So I wanted to give my perspective as a non-gun toter, a non-gun owner, a virgin on this whole gun thing. When David Frum asks, well, you should give up your guns, right? My response is, hell no.
Ooh, I can't believe he said that. I'm so mad.
David, now's not the time, bro. This is bad timing. Have you seen what's happening in Australia?
They're throwing stuff now, and okay, they're shooting. They're now shooting. They're now shooting people. You can hear the, oh my God. They're just shooting at everyone now.
On Father's Day, they're hugging their own damn children across a patrolled border.
Well, Father's Day is usually celebrated around a dining table or cooking or kicking a footy in the backyard with loved ones. But for many families on the Queensland-New South Wales border, it was marked with a quick hug and kiss over an orange barricade.
Just seeing all of those people that have had to make the choice between keeping their business open and not seeing their family, or keeping their job that's in Queensland and not being able to come home to dinner at night, and just taking a moment to just reconnect. And it's really heartbreaking.
Quick hug and kiss over an orange barricade. Quick hug and kiss over an orange barricade.
On Father's Day, they're hugging their own damn children across a patrolled border. They're living a dystopian nightmare. They gave up their guns in large part. And we've got the assault on the Constitution here in the States. Our own president is talking to us like we are his children.
Never been. If you want to think you need to have weapons to take on the government, you need F-15s and maybe some nuclear weapons.
Guns represent a form of power. Right now, I want the power with the people. Again, this is not to be violent. The hope is you never have to use it. It's just there, though.
You got to be prepared. Splash. You better not. Bring this bitch down to 3 miles per hour. I bust the windows out your car.
Just like this guy with the brick. He never used the brick, but it did what it was supposed to do.
You seen how he pulled that rock up? It was about to be the rock and sock connection. The Rock of Gibraltar. He's about to do, I throw a rock at you.
Frum goes on to write, Americans also stocked up on guns. They bought more than 23 million firearms in 2020, up 65% from 2019. First-time gun purchases were notably high. The surge has not abated in 2021. In January, Americans bought 4.3 million guns, a monthly record. David, no-ish. Do you remember the mostly peaceful protests?
I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not generally speaking unruly, but fires have been started. And
first thing I want to make perfectly clear: this has been almost entirely peaceful. In fact, completely peaceful.
It's been a mostly peaceful protest. but then they chose to move in.
Many of these protests have been largely peaceful.
Mostly peaceful.
Mostly peaceful.
Mostly peaceful.
The rhetoric from Dems about guns, supply chain issues. Right now, Ben & Jerry's wants to defund the police.
It's a new flavor. It's meant to reflect the company's effort to support racial justice. It's called Change is Brewing. The limited batch is made of cold brew iced coffee, ice cream, marshmallow swirls, and fudge brownies. Part of the proceeds will go to groups trying to rethink public safety and advocate for communities of color.
David, do you lock your doors at night wherever you live? If you park your car in a parking garage, do you lock the doors when you leave it? I'm not saying you have to buy a gun. Again, I don't own one at this moment. You know, a guy like Tim Pool went from not owning guns at all to having someone run up to his crib where they shouldn't have.
Yeah, I think the guy from my house is back. If you could send police to it'd be great. They're on the front porch. I think it's the same guy from this morning. I have no idea, but I don't know who this is, so I'm not going to answer the door.
And now he goes to the range quite frequently.
And so then just look through, aim the dot at the thing, and pull the trigger?
Yep.
That's right. All right, everybody ready?
Yep.
Frum goes on to say, you want to be a protective spouse, a concerned parent, a good citizen, a patriotic American. Since when does the left care about patriotism? Save your family and your community from danger by getting rid of your weapons, and especially your handguns. Don't wait for the law. Do it yourself. Do it now. Do it because you just bought your first home. Do it because you just got married. Do it because you just had the baby you cherish more than anything in this world. The gun you trust against your fears is itself the thing you should fear. The gun is a lie. Well written, even though I disagree. As more Americans recognize the lie, they may notice a powerful new possibility. Once emancipated from the false myth of the home-protecting gun, they will find it easier to write laws and adopt policies to stop the criminals and zealots who carry guns into the streets, win enough elections, and the federal courts will retreat from their son gun advocacy and return to their historic deference to state regulation of firearms. Are you feeling safe yet? I'm going to close with this. During our times, I feel like all the information we're getting, whether it's accurate information, misinformation, jokes, straight up seriousness, whatever it is, I'm included in this. It almost disorients you. It's spinning you around. Just look at the pandemic and everything. So you just imagine you're standing in place and you're spinning around for months. You're just spinning. And you try to stop. You're so dizzy that you can't even stand up anymore. And someone's holding their hand out to help you. And that could be the government to say, hey, I know you're confused with all this information. I'm just here to help you. I'm just here to keep you safe. It could be friends, family. It could be the media. What I look at before I grab that hand so I can balance myself and stay up is, are you trying to empower me? Because if you're not trying to empower me, you're not really trying to help me stand up on my own. If you wanted to empower citizens, you would say, hey, you could have guns, practice safe gun control and gun safety, not giving up your guns. Everything the left demands of you is so that you're cared for.
People will still need to be tested, isolated, and cared for.
Americans are going to have to make sacrifices for climate change, so you're cared for.
Cared for.
Lockdowns.
Cared for.
Mandates.
Cared for.
Executive orders.
Cared for.
Censorship.
Cared for.
I never feel more terrified than when the left wants to care for me.
Cared for.
What if the journey isn't about becoming anything, but unbecoming everything that you were taught to be, so you can be who you were made to be in the first place?
I'm grateful for SpaceX and all the hardworking engineers and everyone involved for Inspiration 4. They sent, for the first time in the history of the world, the globe, first time ever, an all-civilian crew to orbit the Earth.
We're cruising right now at 580 kilometers above the Earth, going about 7.6 kilometers per second. So we're really booking. We're seeing the world every 90 minutes. That's how fast we're traveling around it. It's pretty incredible.
Unbelievable stuff. Our president, to my knowledge, still has not acknowledged this, by the way. It's time to discuss. We have the worst president in the history of, one of the worst presidents ever. But what I'm grateful for is SpaceX and all those hard workers and those 4 civilians that were able to do that, take that trip. We are advancing ourselves. And Elon Musk is a big part of it. I want to thank Elon Musk for helping me, teach me, and for me to teach my kids about building an empire and chasing dreams. The final destination is not Mars. It's to explore the galaxies. Let me know what you think. Thanks a lot. Take care.
You are only old non-aggression. Once that lesson sets in, you'll see a session. But you got an affection for no progression, regression. The best don't obsess about oppression. Possess weapons, mind and body protect when defense is necessary. Appendix carry. This will vary. Nothing is foolproof, but fools fool you. So do you and lose dudes that want you to lose. So hacks can use you as a stat, but they have been wrong. You are not defined by just your skin tone. So why attach yourself and piggyback the wealth you didn't earn or lack yourself? I'm telling you to own up to your own success and failures. It's a reason why these sleazy guys have you focused on all the bad news, hoping that it is tattooed in your mind that you will wince without assistance, and now you're dealing with others' experiences. You have no identity of your own, and you're defined by everybody else. No sense of self, hollow and inept, 'cause you have nothing of your own, and you're defined by everybody else. No sense of self, hollow and inept. I'm not undermining nobody's struggle, and I'm not saying life's a box of chocolate or carnivals. I like to weigh in cause you might have got what you bargained for. I hope you take it in a lot, this ain't an argument for. Part of you gotta be smart enough to know why you partying up. Your art really sucks. The audience starting you up. Chamber of echoes ringing. Same brain with names changing. Hearing opposing opinion and you malfunction. Characters non-playable, that's why you hate to move. And when you try to save a dude, they get to hating you. They don't want to be saved, but one of these days someone will say they told you so. You're gonna get played, but that's your business. Don't get your wig split acting an idiot. Back up a tidbit. This ain't a diss, kid, so list this. I wish this misfit would get pissed enough to get it, but he mad at all the wrong folk because he missed it. Yo, look, this ain't for sing-alongs. I don't want you to get it wrong. I know what you was tripping on. You've been lied to your whole life, fool. The right to beside you. That's why you always focus on what the white dudes do. Fist in the air, screaming loud and being proud. But you are going through the motions. What you leaving out? What have you been accomplishing? Did something get done within a month? You've been marching for the fun of it. The only thing you got is exercise. Wise up and trying to get your eyes up. It's like an exorcist, size up. Existential heat, essentially, has no mind of his own, and that's why he's an NPC.